Dr. Deb Legge here, back for the second installment in the free video series on getting paid. In the first installment, we talked a little bit about how you want to set up your practice and whether or not you want to play the insurance game. And in this video, I want to give you some tips on setting your fees and doing your billing. Okay, so with regard to setting your fees should not be a random act. It shouldn't be a number that you pull out of the sky or pull out of a hat. This is something that you should do in a very methodical and educated manner. Okay, it's important that you survey your market. And when I say survey your market, I'm talking about you surveying your market with regard to private pay fees as well as insurance billing. You're going to have to decide where on the continuum that you're going to want to be. Because what I think you're going to find in your survey, it's what I found in mine and what I find in mine when I do it every year, is that there are going to be people who are charging very, very little and insurance companies that are paying very, very little. And there are going to be people that charge a whole lot and insurance companies that pay well. And so for your practice, especially if you're first starting out, you've got to decide where you feel comfortable starting off. Is it somewhere in the middle? Is it somewhere at the either end? The clients I do coaching with are really kind of all over the board with that. Some people feel a lot more comfortable starting out way at the bottom of the scale, where they're practically giving it away just because they want to get their name out there and they want to start building their practice. And honestly, I can understand the need and the desire to get your name out there and get some people in the book. But you really need to think about the message that you send when you are the least expensive therapist in town. What kind of message are your clients getting? What kind of message are your referral sources getting? Okay, just be aware of it, be cognizant of it, and then you can decide. I have other coaching clients who, in fact, I had a woman who told me that the average private pay fee in her area was $150, and therefore she was going to set her fees at $160 because she wanted to be sure that everybody knew that she provided great value and that she was really at the top of the scale, and therefore she must be really good. Okay, and that worked for her. That made her feel good. And that's the important thing. Wherever you fall on the continuum, you have to feel good about you. Because setting fees is all about you. It's not about your client. Your client is going to adjust no matter what you do, and your clientele will adjust no matter what you do. But you have to feel good about where you decide to set those fees. All right. When you're setting your fees, you have to set your posted fees first. That's most helpful. And those fees, the posted fees, are the fees that you're going to charge each and every insurance company. You have to charge all the insurance companies the same, or else it is considered to be preferential billing, and that's not okay. So think about the major codes, CPT codes. Those are the codes that for the services that you provide. Think of those, the major codes, which I know in my practice, and probably in yours if you have a private practice where you're seeing mostly individuals, there is 90801, which is the initial assessment. There is 90806, which is the follow-up visit. And there is 90847, which is a family visit. With 90801, you're going to set a posted fee. My posted fee for 90801 is about double that of the follow-up session, or 90806. Okay, so I set a fee for 90801, and then I set a fee for 90806, and then my fee for 90847 is higher than my individual fee because I'm seeing a family, if I see a family. All right, so once you decide on those, you kind of set those up in stone for a while until you redo your fees, maybe a year or two from now. But those stay consistent, and those are the fees you use to bill your insurance company. Okay? Once you do that, you can set your private fees. And again, remember, that's based on the market and based on what you decide is going to be comfortable for you. I want you to keep in mind that even big towns are small towns when it comes to gossip. So be really careful about your private fees and how you put them out there. You have to really think about what is that private fee I'm going to charge, and how am I going to make that go up or down along the way. Okay? Think about this. I had a coaching client who on her website put that she was going to charge for individual therapy a range. She gave a range of what she charged for individual therapy. And the question I sent back to her was, okay, if you tell me, for example, that your range is going to be between $75 and $100 a session, and I call you and you tell me that you want $100, $100 from me, I'm going to say to you, but on your website it says it's from 75 to 100. Why are you going to charge me 100 if you charge as little as 75? You don't want to have to explain that kind of a thing. The other thing you want to be concerned about is, let's say you charge, a person calls you and you tell them that it's $75 a session, and they come in that first session and they say, it's really kind of funny because you see somebody that I work with and you charge them $100 a session, and I was just wondering why it's only $75 for me. Well, now you're going to have two people to explain to, okay? Or the other way around. They're going to say, how much is it? You're going to tell them $100, and they're going to say, well, I don't really understand because you see somebody I work with and you only charge them $75 a session. That one's a little easier to get out of, because you can always say that, my fees have changed and, this is what it is for new clients. But it's still a sticky and slippery slope sometimes when you start giving ranges. And really think about that. As I said, even big towns are small towns when it comes to this kind of a thing. Be consistent. If you're going to have a discounted rate, if you're going to have one, don't call it that. Okay? You never want to discount your services. Again, it's words. Words are very important. You know how important words are in our business, and the words we use are very important to our clients, to our referral sources, and also to ourselves. Okay? If you use the word discount, what does that mean? Why are you discounting? What are you discounting? What are you discounting from? I think it would be much better for you to use a reduced fee. I can reduce the fee, to X for the next 60 days, and then we can revisit this. That's a lot different than I'll give you a 25% discount. If we were selling shoes, this would be a different story, but we're talking about services, and we're talking about your time here. So I'd strongly encourage you to think about what types of words you are going to use when you do give a reduced rate. Right? I hope that's helpful. Let's see. Now, when you do take insurance, when we talk about billing, and if you do take insurance, there are a few tips for you. First, you're going to want to have all the information that's required in order for you to do your billing. You don't want to have to call your client back 2 or 3 times to ask them things like, what's your date of birth, what's your social security number, what does it say on the back of your insurance card. You want to get all that information up front. Okay, so when they come in your paperwork, make sure you have a spot for them to fill out all the information, and you'll probably want to take a photocopy of the front and the back of their insurance card. Make sure to have the current billing address for their insurance company. And I know that sounds pretty silly, but I know that I have insurance companies like Aetna that has 4 or 5 different billing addresses depending on the policy that people have. Okay? The other thing to remember in that vein is that the address on the back of the insurance card is not always the address to which you would send billing for your services. Many insurance companies have a separate address for their behavioral health claims. They may even have a separate insurance division for behavioral health, and your claims are going to go to a different place than the primary physician invoices are going to go. So it's always good to get in the habit of calling the insurance company just to verify coverage, verify what's requested and what's needed, and also to find out what is the billing address to which I send these claims. They may also tell you at that point that they don't accept claims by mail, that you have to bill on their website, and you would never have known that, and you probably would have never gotten paid. Okay, so it's always good to make that brief phone call. You may have to decide if you want to bill electronically or not. For some insurance companies, you can decide. They give you the option. You can either go on their website and fill out their billing form and hit, send, and usually get your money a lot faster, or you can bill by hand. Some insurance companies don't give you that option. You have to bill electronically, or they don't allow you to bill electronically. If you are billing by hand, you or your billing person will use probably some kind of a software package for billing that will generate HCVA forms, HCVA forms. These are forms that are very specific to billing and have to be purchased, and usually I buy them in stacks of 500, and those are the only forms that the insurance company will accept. So you'll have to decide, am I going to bill electronically? Am I going to bill by hand on a HICVA form? Am I going to have somebody else do my billing for me? Please make sure that you have your NPI number and your tax ID number so that you can bill. The NPI number is a number that is required by all insurance companies, that you put it on all your bills, including your super bill, even if you're going to just give a bill to a client so they can get reimbursed on their own from their insurance company. That bill is going to have your national provider identifying number on it. Okay? It's also going to have your tax ID number on it. If you do not have a tax ID number, you will probably be best to do that as soon as you finish watching this video, because it doesn't take long to get, but you really need it, or you're going to have to give up your social security number to the insurance companies. And if a client asks for a super bill, you're going to have to give over your social security number to your clients, and I know you don't want to do that. So those are the two numbers that you should have before you start billing. Another tip for you in billing is to bill in a timely fashion. I'm not sure why people sit on their bills and they don't send them out, but some people do. And you need to know that some insurance companies will not reimburse you if they don't get the bills in a timely fashion.